the fact that, yes, people will come in, but you're seeing it from a different perspective. And he talks about electoral science, and now, is it against political science?
We've moved to the realm of beliefs, and I'm not ready to argue about what somebody believes. If he believes there will be no problem, then good luck, because he's optimistic, and it's good for him to be optimistic. He's a prominent member of a new merger. The problem, of course, is that, I think, quite honestly, the APC has an advantage. They have come with a determined program to take over federal power. And they have already in place at least two major components, and the leading facilitators, Tinubu and Buhari, already operate almost a garrison parties. So, but of course, most Nigerian parties have garrison culture. I must say that the PDP definitely has a garrison culture in which everybody is supposed to line up behind the winner. At one point, under Obasanjo, Obasanjo himself was president, the chairman of the party was retired colonel, the deputy national chairman was retired Navy Commodore. So what do you get from that? A military president and two leading. So you cannot but be a garrison party. That, of course, we took over from the military, as though that culture of the military seeped into politics, and it has been difficult to eliminate it. So everybody seems to have this authoritarian relationship. Once you are the leader, everybody must fall in line. Anybody who as much as cough differently from you is supposed to be a saboteur. So that is the problem that parties have. But it's also an advantage for parties that have very strong authoritarian structures. So they can put their leaders together. The Buhari, for example, does not appear to be authoritarian, but he's what I call a guardian leader, the kind of thing that you find in Islamic culture of either a servant leader or a guardian leader, in which case everybody just follows you, and because they respect you, you have the charisma, whatever you say, they will agree.
But don't you think that those two who you mentioned in the APC that were playing those leading roles, if they were going to have problems, they might have seen some sort of, at least some iota of it. Don't you think that to some extent they've been able to contain it, and perhaps they will for this registration to have happened?
No, there's no problem. And I say they have an advantage in the right space. That's what I'm trying to analyze, that the two leaders may be able to hold the party together, whatever the problems. They may be able to do so. They also will have to do it because they know ahead of them an opportunity to take power. I think that opportunity will moderate any frictions and differences and enable them to manage it a little bit more effectively than the PDP is managing its own right now. Because the PDP is suffering from the abundance of power. They have been in power, and everybody is beginning to be too comfortable and sometimes too arrogant when they talk about being in power for 60 years. Now they know that 60 years may not be more than 2 years if they are not careful.
Papa, if I may come in here, I was going to ask Mr. Fashekin, and probably he'll respond to that as well. But these parties that have come together, they've been known to have their own different, in quote, ideologies, or so to speak, mode of operation and all.
Ideologies.
They have their own modus operandi and all of that. Coming together now, Mark Boy asked a question, he said, strange bedfellows. Do you think they'll be able to lie on this bed together? And how long would it take before they have this friction showing itself?
Well, maybe given the commitment to social justice that it claims to be the credo of the APC, maybe they are not as strange. In fact, Nigerians don't have strange bedfellows. Most politicians in Nigeria are the same. They are power mongers, they go to power, they become authoritarians, they steal our money, they do everything together. They laugh together. Nigerian politicians don't call it. That's why it's easy for them to move from one party to APC to AMPP, from AMPP to CPC. They move around because they are comfortable everywhere, because they do the same things. So they are not really strange bedfellows. But my worry is this, I see the ACN is the loser in this merger.
How?
The ACN is the one that has put in the most, 6 governors out of 10. And the ACN, what is it going to get from it?
So does that mean that they cannot come in as equals?
The ACN...
There will always be that ranking.
Yeah, but
silently.
What I'm saying is this. ACN has gone into an alliance, a merger, in which it has contributed the most. But it's not going to get anything commensurate with what it has contributed. It's not going to be able to present the president, for example.
How are you sure? How are you sure?
This president cannot come to Yoruba land again. And ACN is a Yoruba party, basically.
But with this merger now, that notion seems to be taken care of. That notion of ACN being a Yoruba party is now going more
ACN
like
is
a
no longer
national...
exist. It does no longer exist. It's basically, let's say, a Southern party. Let's remove the Yoruba and call it Southern.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is that ACN will get little from its investment. And I can tell you from my understanding of Nigerian politics, my understanding of presidential politics, when the APC gets to power, the ACN will be killed. The ACN component of it. They will get nothing. Because the person who is the president, who is likely to be a northerner, will take everything. And if ACN sees AFRN as a major challenge, it will kill it. And it will take the power base of this.
That also boils down to the accusation that, you know, that Mr. Fashakin is putting against you. They are still seeing them as compartmentalized, you know, as they are. Even though right now they're a new party, they've emerged.
Let me tell you something.
INEC has withdrawn the 3 certificates and given them just one certificate.
So INEC registration now transformed them into what?
Into APC.
Overnight. They become the same. There are no power groups, there are no pressure groups, there are no frictions, there are no groups. The people who speak with Tinubu, they still don't go to him anymore, they go to Buhari. Is that what you are saying?
Are you seeing this only in the light of 2015? Because what you seem to be projecting is that this merger might not last beyond 2015.
Well, if it lasts beyond 2015, I'll be surprised. If they win in 2015, APC will stay. Of course, it will stay. But gradually, the winner, the president, will manipulate all that groups within it. See what happened to PDM under Obasanjo. PDM was the greatest force that brought Obasanjo into power within the PDP. But that was the first movement that was killed and almost eliminated. That is the way power operates. If you don't kill the person that brings you to power, it will not let you eat comfortably. It will hold your hand forever.
Let's get Mr. Fashakin in on this. I mean, Mr. Fashakin, having heard this, what do you see happening? How do you see APC navigating this seemingly thorny path now?
Chamberlain, please, sorry, can you come again with that question?
Do you see the party disintegrating if you don't win the presidential elections?
Do you see what?
Do you see the party disintegrating if they don't win the 2015 presidential elections?
Thank you very much. I have listened carefully to Professor's postulations and hypotheses. I have utmost respect for the learned prof, but I totally disagree with him. What he said can at best be in the realm of conjectures, you know, and I think he's totally gotten it very wrong. It's very, very wrong.
Tell us about it.
If you look at the structure of the party, you know, and the formation of the party, APC came about as a result of a need. It may be impolitic for me to explain, to tell Nigerians all the sacrifices that the different parties, the different leaders, you know, within APC, you know, had to undertake to be able to bring about this party. So when people sit down and talk about their old ideas and all the things that they have known about Nigerian politicians, I just laugh. And they are trying to impute that as going to happen in APC. This APC, understand clearly, is the very first merger, you know, within the Nigerian political space. It had never happened before. What we have always had, at best, had always been coalition of the different parties, you know, different parties coming together and saying, okay, you know, your own area of jurisdiction, you will work, I mean, we'll support you and stuff like that, like what happened in 1979, you know, with the progressives at that time, that brought people like, someone like Alaji, you know, Alaji, what's his name now, in Kaduna State. But it's a different thing with respect to the merger. What we have heard before now have been regional parties. PDP had always been the very dominant party, you know, spreading all over Nigeria. Now, very first time in the history of this nation, there has now been a concerted effort to bring about another dominant party